everyone, I'm Michelle Cassidy with the Florida Aviation Network. Right now we're at beautiful Sebring, Florida at the U.S. Aviation Sports Expo. And right now I have with me Ben Coleman, who is the Vice President at Aircraft Maintenance Training.
Close, Phoenix East Aviation.
And you're with the maintenance training.
Well, I'm setting up the A&P course there at Phoenix East.
Can you tell us a little bit about that maintenance training?
Well, sure. The Phoenix East Aviation has been a flight school for over 40 years, about 42 now, and been based in Daytona Beach, Florida since about '84. And it's been a very key component for a lot of international pilots. Over 100 different countries have been flight training there, and actually the people that our partners here at Phoenix East have decided that aircraft maintenance is a very strong need in the industry, and they said, well, why don't we start up a maintenance school? And that's when they contacted me. Ben, are you interested in helping us out? I said, by all means, absolutely. So that's the reason that we decided to start the school, and I can develop that a little bit more during the interview.
Okay, so you're having you've been a lot of places in aviation, about 2 or 3, maybe, I don't know. So what brings you to Pax East?
Phoenix East Aviation is kind of a culmination of, I actually never have been able to hold down a full-time job.
You've been a lot of places.
That's a little bit of a joke, but I've had a lot of full-time jobs. But the beauty part about when you're in aviation as a career, you never work a day of your life. It's always you're enjoying a hobby, and you're taking advantage of some premium time to be around not only aviation, aircraft people, but every now and then you get a chance to go aloft. And the reason that we're into this business is to look at world from a little different dimension, and it kind of opens up your mind, and it's just a wonderful career path. And that's why I'm glad to circle back around to what brings me to Phoenix East Aviation. It's probably where I'm going to have my sunset, because it's going to take enough of time and effort to set up a 147 FAR Part 147 FAA approved aircraft maintenance training school. It takes a long time to put that together.
Yes.
And once you get it together, it takes a long time to feed it and to guide it and keep it going. And that's the reason that I'm going to be happy in Daytona Beach until I can't walk around or I'm in my wheelchair, and we'll just see how it goes from there.
Plus you're by the beach, so you can enjoy all of that.
I've been told there's a beach there, and but I'm certainly not one to want to go to the beach and look at any beautiful things. And I think we got a helicopter starting up. You want to kind of take a little pause, Michelle?
Oh yeah, that's completely fine. And we're back with Ben Coleman with Phoenix East Aviation. So Ben, there's a lot of, you've been around in aviation, obviously. You've been an investigator for, I have in my notes here, the NTSB, and you also were with the FAA, I'm sorry. How does that contribute with Phoenix East, and how were you about that?
Well, it actually kind of gives me a good round foundation from an accident investigation with the National Transportation Safety Board of why we are in aviation safety to begin with, is that's, to prevent accidents. And the FAA, my role there as an inspector was that of not only promoting aviation safety through regulatory activity, but I was very heavily involved with the aviation safety program with the FAA. And again, it all rolled in to give me a very good springboard into business, to make use of all of the regulatory standards and things that we must maintain in this business to keep it as safe as it is. And it is one of the safest forms of transportation to this day, even though you see a news splash about the aircraft accident here, and then the next day another aircraft accident. Well, I would like to see the news media report on all the vehicular accidents, the boat accidents. More people get killed slipping and falling in their bathtub than in aviation. So we got to remember what the big picture is on this. And again, the NTSB and my piloting and my flying, that's great. But I came into this business as a mechanic, and that's the way I want to have my mechanic wrenches clenched firmly in my hand when they either put me in the ground, burn me up, or whatever that's going to happen to me. So, but that's where it's at. Maintenance is really where it's at. And from a pilot standpoint, Sometimes all they want to know is, where's the key? Is there any fuel in it? Sometimes they don't even ask that. Just give me the key, I'll go fly the darn thing. Um, well, that prop don't turn, or that engine doesn't spool if you're on a jet, unless the mechanic has verified that it's operating, and hopefully operating properly. And that's why the mechanic aspect, we need to develop that probably a little bit later on in the interview.
All right. And so there are also a lot of contributors here. Like you've mentioned a lot of the stuff that goes on with Pax East, Phoenix East. Could you at least expand on that?
Sure. And again, I mentioned that they're in business for over 42 years, and Jason Reslin, the CEO there, and he has firmly left his mark on that company from his international piloting. Actually, he's a 747 pilot for Royal Saudi Arabia Airlines for many years, and he brings with him that attention to how serious this business is, down to the ab initio student level, and we try to ingrain that. And again, you can see Jason's footprint, fingerprints all over that place. We have Spence Edwards, who's the president of the operation, and Spence brings a Navy background and naval aviator, and a very, very calm, sophisticated, smooth businessman. And just the whole group there is professional, and I'm very, very honored that they invited me to join their group. And we just want to take this to the next level from a maintenance standpoint, not only a flight operations standpoint.
Yes. I see how you have a lot to go here. You have a lot of passion for aviation. You have a lot of passion for all of this. Is this what keeps you going? How you remain in this business?
Well, that's a good question, but it all comes down to spirit. I really don't know anything else. But I was grew up around aviation, and second generation in my family, and I want to, not that my way was the best way or the only way, but it is a way, but it's not the only way. And I'm trying to encourage folks to get involved with aviation because of all the different aspects of life that it can provide to you, and character building experiences, romantic experiences, not in a passionate way, but romantic from an aviation standpoint, of watching a beautiful sunset and just imagining what that sunset would be like at 3,000 feet. And again, the attention to detail and the standards of aviation maintenance is so critical. And a mechanic, if you stop and think about it, once they do a function to an aircraft and they close that panel, nobody's going to be back in there until the next inspection interval, and it's got to be right. And they sign their name establishing that it was done right. And when you do that, you have literally people's lives in your hands. So it takes a certain discipline to be a professional mechanic. There's just no way to cut those corners, or else you are going to hurt people. Because when it breaks, when a system fails, you're put in an emergency situation, and an emergency not handled properly can turn out to be a very, very perilous situation. And every mechanic that hears about an aircraft going down that they may have worked on, you just don't know the gut-wrenching impact that it has on them to make sure that, gosh, I hope it's nothing that I did to mess up, because we're all human, and human factors is one thing that we're going to be developing in our school that's just going to set us a little bit apart from some of the other schools.
Oh, yes. Well, it seems like you got a lot on your hands. Do you have any time for like hobbies or anything?
Well, actually, believe it or not, flying is my hobby. I like to ride motorcycles. I like to work on things. Boating. I actually have some CBs that I'm working on, and the Republic CB. If you're not familiar with that, it's an amphibious aircraft, 4-passenger, single engine, and it's the best of two worlds. If you like to boat and you like to get out in nature, and you like to fly, you can do it all in one unit, and go out camping, stand up in the flight deck and fish out of the front bow door. That's really what we do for hobby, Melody, my wife, and I. And it's really kind of a shame, because my work is my hobby, and my hobby it's my work. So it's the best of two worlds, and that's the only way I can justify some of the expensive toys that we happen to buy.
There's this saying, you do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Exactly, I subscribe to that totally. And I was just noticing they're doing test rides behind us in the background of the Technum, and that's a beautiful little machine that if you like to fly. But anyway, that's rude to our guests there.
Well, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Final thoughts are just the fact of uh, go to your airport, go support your local volunteer organization, wherever if it's either EAA, it's a membership, but they love volunteers. FAA, they have a volunteer organization called the FAST Team, and just get out and don't let the financial aspect of, oh, that's too expensive, I'll never be able to afford that. It doesn't make any difference of what it costs. If you want to do it, you will find a way to make it happen. And there's so many things that you can get involved with aviation that doesn't cost you anything other than your personal time, your personal commitment to get out there and really dedicate yourself to something that's a heck of a lot of fun. And we can always hurt ourselves in aviation, and that's the pinnacle of what I do is try to help prevent that from happening.
Well, thank you for joining us, Ben. It's
My
been
pleasure.
great. Yeah. Thank you for having us here. I've been Michelle Cassidy with the Florida Aviation Network. Thanks for watching.